Hello, and thank you for joining me today for Real Estate, Religion, and You. My name is Sylvia Black, licensed real estate broker of affordable homes and apartments. Are you in the midst of a financial crisis, an economic crisis, or heavy financial bondage? Do you feel hopelessly caught in a vicious cycle of financial defeat? Does it seem as if there's no way of ever getting out of the vicious cycle anytime soon? Well, again, my name is Sylvia Black, licensed real estate broker of affordable homes and apartments. And thank you for joining me today for Real Estate, Religion, and You. Today I want to talk to you again about a book that I've written entitled Help for Homeowners Facing the Loss of Your Home. Are you in the midst of a financial crisis or economic financial bondage? Our greatest enemy is fear. When you operate in fear, you are caught in an iniquitous cycle of financial downfall. Fear causes us all to be subject to circumstances. It grips our heart, steals your hope, and paralyzes you. It leaves you frozen and unable to make decisions. The keys to financial prosperity in the midst of failing economy is in real estate. Your financial breakthrough is here now, and it always has been. The deficiency of homeownership in recent years, and in Erie County and abroad, has caused the economy to sink. In Buffalo, for example, in 2004, public schools had closed, fire departments were closing, motor vehicle offices were closing, public libraries had also threatened to close most of or all of the branches. Major corporations are having huge layoffs. Unemployment and homelessness is surging at an all-time high. In 2005, Erie County faced a 3,000 county job layoff. The economy is suffering more than you ever know. When you own a home, you are putting a piece of property back on the city's tax roll, thereby strengthening and stabilizing the economy and putting some money in your pocket too. When you own a home, you can make sound financial decisions. When you own a home, you can cope in the midst of financial crisis and difficulties. When you own a home, you open up the door to financial prosperity. Owning real estate also allows for rental income, which increases your assets and lowers your liabilities. With rental income, you can save money up for college, vacation, repairs, renovations, your financial independence, and perhaps even a second home. A second home can also produce rental income and help stabilize your economy, thereby providing a stable foundation for you to build upon. Well, my brothers and sisters, there is hope. I know many of you today are facing foreclosure because of the financial bondage and crisis that we are facing today. And a lot of it is due to the fact that the economy is failing. But also, some of us are at fault too, because we don't budget our money properly. Now, in the past, I talked to you a little bit about, our credit, knowing and understanding your credit, finding a mortgage that's right for you, and a couple of other things we talked about in that 3-part series of workshops. And that also applies to homeowners, knowing and understanding your credit as well as a homeowner. Foreclosure can definitely affect your home. And again, this book is available on lulu.com. And also, I have a new website, which is affordablehomesandapartments.net. It used to be affordablehomesandapartments.com, now it's affordablehomesandapartments.net. And we're all in the midst of a financial crisis. With the hopes that minimum wage had actually increased several years ago. It went up from $5, which it was for the longest, up to about $7.15 or $7.05 or something like that. And employers were devastated. They couldn't even maintain their employees. A lot of employees, they had to actually lay people off. And even today, some employers are still trying to get away with paying employees $5 an hour. I understand you got to do what you got to do. But we are in the middle of a financial crisis, whether you know it or not. Now, for most families, a home is not only a significant financial investment, but it's also a source of pride, okay? The loss of a home due to unexpected events, such as unemployment, can be financially and personally devastating. If you have been laid off or are facing unemployment or a loss of income for one reason or another, you can keep your home if you know the right steps to take. Okay, now Affordable Homes and Apartments has put this book together, which is a compilation of resources from various, federal, state, city, nonprofit organizations, and this is statewide. Anything outside of the state of New York, it's actually, I list the websites, and if the website isn't in here, then you can always contact me, and I can give you the website. Okay, now this particular book is statewide because I am licensed to do business in the state of New York. As a licensed real estate broker, I'm licensed in New York, so I can do business in the state of New York. I can sell real estate anywhere as long as the deal closes in New York. Okay? And that's why I included New York as the primary resource of information, because I am in New York, and as a licensed real estate broker, I can help you save your home from foreclosure. And there are many ways that I can help you do that. But today what I'm going to talk to you also about is, if we have time, is about some of the scams, predatory lending, how to avoid being a victim of those types of things. Foreclosure sales go on every single day. Okay? There's a foreclosure sale going on every day in every state. Okay? And then there are different types of foreclosure sales that go on. And this is, very like a gold mine to investors. Okay? Because say, for example, your house, okay, that was originally worth $100,000 when you bought it. Okay, you've been living in it, let's say hypothetically, for this purposes of this example. You've been living in it for about, let's say about, 5-10 years now, right? You may have gotten the subsidy grant for it, so you've actually fulfilled the obligation with regards to getting the subsidy grant, and now you're ready to, to perhaps even refinance your home. There are several ways that you can save your home when you're facing foreclosure. Okay, but say for example, now you're 10 years down the road, now you paid off, a large portion of your, you've been paying off for 10 years, okay? And you think that you've been able to pay off a large portion of the mortgage, when in fact what you've been actually paying off was interest first. And you may not even have touched any of the principal, okay? And when I say principal, I mean the amount of money that you actually owe. Okay, so for example, if you have a mortgage for $100,000, okay, that is the principal amount that you owe. Okay, interest is 10%, 5%, 7%, whatever the bank has said that you are now, they're going to charge you interest for financing this mortgage for you. And believe it or not, for a $100,000 mortgage, you're probably paying close to $500,000 for that mortgage. Because the banks are making money off the interest rate. Okay, you're paying whatever the interest rate is, even if it's a low 4, 5%, 6, 7%. That's good if you're paying that. If you can get that locked in regardless of what the economy is. Most of the times it will not go below maybe 6%. If you can get a 4 or 5%, man, you're doing real good. But regardless of how much the interest rate is, you're still going to pay 2 to 3 times as much as the mortgage is. So if your mortgage is $100,000, you're going to be paying about $300,000, maybe $400,000, close to $500,000 over the course of 30 years when you're paying back that mortgage. Now that's a lot of money to think about. But a lot of us can't afford to buy a home with cash. Some people can and some people can't. So that's the purpose of having a mortgage. However, when you get a mortgage, you have to qualify. So that means you have to have good credit, you have to have stable income, and a whole host of other things that banks look for, because they want to make sure that you can pay the money back. And when you go to a bank and you say, look, Mr. Banker, I'd like to borrow some money, to buy this house. Never say the word need, because when you walk into a bank and you say, Mr. Banker, I need to borrow money, their ears are going to flop down on their head like a dog's ears flop. And they're not going to hear a word you say after that, It's going to be like talking to dog's ears, I need to borrow money. Okay, talk to the hand. Why? Because, banks don't loan you money because you're a nice family, or because you're a nice person, or because you're a good person and loyal and you've been working for years, you're a hard-working individual and you deserve a mortgage. No, that's not why banks loan you money. They loan you money so they can make money off of you. Okay? And that's the true proof. Okay? Banks are in business to make money. Affordable Homes and Apartments, licensed real estate brokerage firms in the business of buying and selling real estate. We deal with real estate, banks deal in mortgages. Again, we're talking about my book, Help for Homeowners Facing the Loss of Your Home. There's so much that you need to know as a homeowner, as a potential homeowner, as a home buyer, as an investor, because that is the real way to stabilize your income. Now, let's say, for instance, you're living in a nice neighborhood, you're renting an apartment. Okay, you don't have to buy a house and move into it. You can buy a house and rent it out, and this way you have some rental income coming in. Okay, the only way you're going to get a raise on that job is if they have a second floor. Okay, and they raise you from the first floor to the second floor. Okay, you know what I'm saying? Or you get on a forklift. Maybe they'll train you how to use a forklift. Okay, but you know, and only people that start at the top are those that are digging ditches. Okay, can I get some help up in here? Okay, now are you facing money problems, which a lot of us are? If you're in the midst of a financial bondage or economic crisis, yes, you are facing financial problems. You may still been working on the job for years. You may have had a stable job and whatnot, and you've been living in the same place for maybe 10 years. You raised your children, and you work hard, but yet you still can't seem to make ends meet. Well, the answer is in real estate. In whatever reason that you're facing, economic crisis, it could be because of retirement, illness, injury, or death of a family member, divorce, separation, loss of income, any number of reasons. Now, in my book here, Helpful Homeowners Facing the Loss of Your Home, I list, which is available on lulu.com and my website, affordablehomesandapartments.net. Okay. There are several steps that you can take when you are unable to pay your mortgage. One of the main things that I would suggest to you is please, Mr. Homeowner, don't wait till the last minute, okay? Because a lot of times that's what happens. You say, oh, I got plenty of time, okay? But let me give you something that might help to ease your troubled mind. A foreclosure takes about 12 months, a whole year, in order from when the process begins. That's if you have a mortgage with a bank. From the time that the process begins until it actually forecloses, okay? And once the property forecloses, okay, there still has to be an eviction, a legal eviction, okay? Now, perhaps maybe they would have, by the bank actually having acquired the legal right to obtain the property after 12 months, perhaps maybe they may have obtained the legal right to put you out. I don't know exactly the connection with that, but from what I know is that there has to be a legal eviction, okay? So once the foreclosure proceeding takes place, this says that the bank has a right to now take the property back. But do they have the right to put you out, okay? And a lot of times people walk away from their property. They just leave their property. They say, because they figure, hey, the bank is going to come and take it anyway, so they might as well just leave before they get embarrassed. I know one guy who actually got dragged out by the cops. He stayed in his house. It's not funny. He stayed in this house, okay? And I had met him just a little while before. And matter of fact, I was managing a property over there. This was right not too far from Canisius College. And I met him and everything, and I introduced myself, and I told him I was a real estate broker and everything, and he didn't really seem to be too concerned about what I did. But at that time, he was actually facing foreclosure, and I could have helped him had he, asked me for help or, mentioned his problem to me. I would have volunteered to say, look, I can help you. You know what I mean? Because he didn't know how to ask for, more time. He didn't know how to negotiate anything like that with he didn't even go to court. He stayed right in that house until the cops came. But I actually saw. I didn't know what was going on, but I saw the cops. And there was another man that came, and they went to his door, and he walked out with them. He came out of his house and he walked out, and he said he left a lot of stuff. Because he said he was trying to rent out rooms, but he was unsuccessful, obviously, because he ended up getting foreclosed upon. But there are steps that you can take to prevent foreclosure. If you have to still sell your house, if your house still, at least try to save your credit. Because if you damage your perfectly good, sparkling credit, you won't be able to buy another house on credit. At least if you save your credit, we can help you save your home and or your credit. If you can save your credit, then you possibly be in a position to buy your own home. But let's say you have a house that's $100,000 and you lived in it for about 10 years. Now you have equity in the house, even though you haven't paid that much on the principal amount. You have equity in the house, and equity is what's the difference between what you actually bought the house for and what you actually owe on the house in principal. Okay, so let's say $100,000 you bought the house for. You've been living there 10 years. You've only been paying on the interest, a little bit on the principal. It's been 10 years though, and you only touched on you paid about $10,000 in principal. okay, and you pay them a whopping 6 years worth of interest, okay. So now, but you still have equity in the house because houses appraise; they go up in value, as opposed to cars, which depreciate when you first drive it off the lot. Depreciate means that it goes down in value. Appreciate means it goes up in value. So a house appreciates and a car depreciates in value. Okay, and once you sign that contract and you actually move into that house, you actually increase the value of that house. When you start working on that house and you start beautifying it, somebody moves into that house. Now the house is worth more money. But by you having lived in there for a number of years and now you paid off your mortgage, now the house is worth more money than you actually paid off, believe it or not. Okay, and don't ask me how it works. The numbers work, in our favor as a homeowner, but that's how it works. So you could actually go to the bank. With your credit, you're facing foreclosure. You haven't actually been foreclosed upon. So it may show on your credit as being a foreclosure, but you can actually possibly, that's one way of perhaps maybe saving your home, is you can qualify for a refinance, a second mortgage. Now there are several things that you need to look for, okay, and you can find a lot of them in my book when you get it from lulu.com, okay, and or affordablehomesandapartments.net. Okay. Now, like I said, there are steps that you can take, and there are several, agencies that are here to help you. And Affordable Homes would like to direct you in their direction, show you who these organizations are, how they can help you, okay, and how to determine if someone is legitimate or if they're actually just running a scam on you. Because believe it or not, a lot of times when you're facing foreclosure, you're at your wit's end. And you do not know what to do. You're confused. You don't know. A lot of people don't know what to do. All you know is that you want to save your home. You don't want to get put out. You don't want to have to move. You don't want your credit to go bad. And then you blame everybody else for your situation, And a lot of times it could be external, but there's some things that we can do as individuals too. Now, I can admit that there are a lot of people that are out there trying to run scams on you, but a lot of times we have to use a little bit of common sense. When dealing with a situation or circumstance that involves our emotions, we have to sometimes step back a little bit and just think about it, use our brains. Because a lot of times people will come to you with something that sounds so wonderful, and they're perfectly good salesmen. I mean, they can sell, the roof off your house, They can sell you anything, because that's how good they are at sales. But the thing is that, you and I, we have the right as adults to think these things over. Say, okay, let me think about it. Give me a day. Oh no, this deal is just for today. It's not going to be tomorrow. You're not going to be. Well, then maybe it's not meant for me. Then have a nice day. Bye. Close the door in their face. You might have to do that. Close the door right in their face. You know what I mean? When you open the door, don't open it all wide. Oh, who is it? Just do the door while the door's closed. Who is it? You know what I mean? This way you ain't got to put them out because they'll already be out. Okay. So now, help for homeowners facing the loss in your home, available on lulu.com or affordablehomesandapartments.net. Don't be a victim of predatory lending, my brothers and sisters. Okay? Now, I'm trying to educate you as much as I can in these next few minutes. And there might be a part 2. Okay? Beware of predatory lending schemes. Okay? We should all be aware of predatory lending schemes. Okay? Now, most mortgage lenders are reputable and provide a valuable service by allowing families to own a home without saving thousands of dollars, which is what I mentioned to you earlier. Okay? Otherwise, you'd purchase it outright if you had the cash. However, there are a few unscrupulous lenders, especially those who make high-risk second mortgages, engage in predatory lending practices that can cause the likelihood that a borrower will lose his or her own home at the blink of an eye. Okay? These abusive practices include making mortgage loan to an individual who does not have the income to repay. And they know good and well you don't have the money to repay, but they give you a loan anyway. Charging you excessive, over-high interest rates, okay, points and fees, or repeatedly financing a loan without providing any real value to you, the borrower. Borrowers facing unemployment and or foreclosures are frequent targets of predatory lenders because they are desperate to find any solution to the default. Like I said, you're at your wit's end. Homeowners frequently receive refinance offers in the mail. As soon as your house goes up for foreclosure, let me tell you, it's made a matter of public knowledge. Okay? There are a lot of people who have access to your credit report. Yes, that's right. They have access to your credit report, and they can request it by category. They can request it by, how many homeowners are in the area. They can request it by how many homeowners are facing foreclosure. How many homeowners make $40,000 or more. How many homeowners are married. Okay? Oh yes, they can request. This is part of public information, baby, with your name, address, phone number on it. Okay, and that's why you get these letters in the mail. You get so many letters in the mail. And you're thinking, oh wow, there's some help for me. Yes, there is help. But you got to use a little common sense, okay? Now, it may appear very attractive to you. Like I said before, a lot of these offers. Okay, but consider this. If you can't make your current mortgage payments, that's why you're in foreclosure in the first place, right? Then increasing your debt by borrowing more money, okay, even if you get a temporary cash, like those easy loans or those fast loans or whatever, or payday loans or whatever, it would make it harder to keep your home. And you got to beware of what you're signing in a time of crisis or financial foreclosure. Because like I said, a lot of people will take advantage of you in the situation knowing that you're facing foreclosure and that you're desperate for any solution at all. And they will tell you to sign here and I can help you save your home. And you'll sign there without reading or looking at what you're signing, and you end up signing your house away. Now beware of scams. Okay, we're going to go over a few of them. Equity skimming is where a borrower offers to repay the mortgage or sell the property if you sign over the deed and move out. Sometimes they'll just ask you to sign over the deed. Remember, transferring the deed, it transfers ownership. Okay, so if somebody signs a deed, you sign it over to them, you're transferring ownership. Okay, but if the bank finds out that that somebody else now owns the house, they're going to make that mortgage become due and immediately in full. Okay, so if you transfer that deed to somebody else, now they own the house, they can put you out. You have no legal rights to that home anymore. Okay, but if they don't tell the bank, then you will still be liable for that mortgage, and your house can still foreclose upon, but it will be in his name. Okay, he can make the payments, he can save your home, he can sell your home, and you don't get nothing. That's called equity skimming. Another one is called phony counseling services agencies, which offer counseling for a fee when it's often given at no charge. And my book talks about the types of counseling agencies that offer counseling, free housing counseling, at no charge, who they are, how to find them, and what have you. Do not sign anything that you do not understand. It is your legal right and your duty to ask questions. Don't be pressured into signing anything, please.